Welcome to another episode of To Be a Boro Fan. This afternoon I have Dave Saunders with me. Dave's a local football coach. Dave has a few bits and bobs going on with the kids in the area. Dave, welcome to Borofantv TV.
Thank you, Tony.
Have you got any projects going at the moment for the footballers?
Yeah, I've got a project going at the moment which is currently football for community, where I collect boots for the community, where I'm getting kids' parents to drop all football boots in which have been used or unused. At the present time, it's been running for about 2.5 weeks. I've had over 140 football boots donated, and I've actually got 82 back in, which I've donated back to families. Daily, they're coming in every single day, and it's just a massive influx. It's took off massive with grassroots.
Well done, Dave. Like you say, if any of your kids need any football boots, they've grew out of theirs and they need a size bigger, and you need a bit of help, Dave's the man to be in touch with. Dave, you're here today to tell us what's it like. Why are you a Boro fan?
Well, basically, I've always loved football. I followed it basically as far as I can remember when I was 4-year-old. My stepdad took me to the first Boro game in 1971 against Queen's Park Rangers. We won the game 3-2, and I've never had so much excitement in my life. You know, it was a squeeze to start with. He got me in free of charge. I don't think we ever paid in that season. And then after that, it was just, I've never stopped going since 1971. That was my first Boro game against Queen's Park Rangers.
That'll have been Stan Anderson's team, won't it, Dave?
Yes, it was, yes. He did that one, and then I can always remember for 2 seasons, and then Jack Charlton came in and he did the rest. It was brilliant. Absolutely, Endorsement Park was a different level to what you see now.
Who was your favourite Boro player ever, Dave?
Jim Platt. Made his debut against Blackpool. We won 1-0. He made 481 appearances. His 5th Boro's all-time record appearances. He was just outstanding. One fact about Jim Platt is not many people know this. The week prior to that, he played against Boro reserves, and he scored a hat-trick as a striker against Lincoln City. And obviously he came in goal the following week because we were going to let Foyne against Oxford United the week before. So I'll never forget that. He's off. I've got a 6-foot poster on me somehow with Jim Platt. He's brilliant. And
obviously he played for Northern Ireland with the legendary George Best, who we got to come and play in his testimonial.
That's right, yeah. We all thought George Best was going to play for us because we all turned expecting to sign and he just didn't turn up. But obviously it was just unfortunate with Jim Platt. He had such a the goalkeeper who was there at that time. I think it was who was, I can't remember.
Pat Cuff was in the same.
But the Northern Ireland keeper who kept him out.
Was this under Jack Charlton or?
Yeah, because he only made 23 appearances for Northern Ireland, but he coincided.
Oh, Pat Jennings, sorry, for Northern Ireland, yeah.
Yeah, but he would have made a lot more. If Pat Jennings was around that era, or he was a bit later, he definitely would have made more than 23 appearances because he was just absolutely unbelievable. As a keeper, didn't use gloves. You know, they didn't in them days, you know, because it was a proper men's game, you know. And as I come through the area, you see the likes of, the David Hodgins coming through, the local youth. Stan Cummins was tiny, but he played football. Terry Cochran, you know, they were true legends in Boro.
Cheers, Dave. Great choice. Now we'll move on, Dave. What's your all-time favourite Boro game?
Aston Villa away, 7th Data Cup, semi-final, away when we beat them 2-1. Absolutely lashing down for the full 90 minutes.
I was not too far away from you. I was in a pub in Coventry watching it, keeping out the rain.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Atmosphere was absolutely incredible because when you beat them there, we'd go to Wembley for our first ever time, you know, against Chelsea. But that was the best game I've ever been to. You know, just the atmosphere, just non-stop singing.
Like you say, from our generation, Dave, how important was that Wembley Cup final, our first ever Wembley Cup final, and what it meant to this area? It was, what I can remember of it was just mental. It was fantastic.
It was. I mean, the whole town just stopped. It was football crazy. I mean, football in the 1990s, where just the Endorsement Park was full, all the town stopped. You know, it was just en route to Villa Park on that Tuesday night. I'll never forget it. You know, and then going to Wembley to play Chelsea, it was just an absolute sea of red. and to see the old Wembley Towers now, when we got there, it was just unbelievable. It's like, you're just like, this is, it's London and you're in Wembley, something. Result was insignificant against Chelsea. We weren't bothered. It was a day out. It was something which we as a generation saw, and we could always say we've always been the first to be there.
It was one of the stepping stones of Steve Gibson coming in as when he rescued the club. And like you say, in '86, and we got the 2 promotions, then to Wembley, and everything's just grew from that moment, Dave, hasn't it?
Of course, yeah. I mean, when they went into liquidation in '86, me and Brian Mack from Grangetown, we actually stood there and cried in '86 on the gates. I'll never forget it. We were going there at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning to the club shop and waiting for the players to come in, and then suddenly it was stopped. And then you were going to Hartlepool to watch against Port Vale when we do 2-2, we went back. Such a legend, that Steve Gibson, and what he's put into the area, and still does. He's built an empire within an empire, and he's given a lot of Boro fans a lot of satisfaction. We wouldn't have a team without Steve Gibson, and obviously, because I'd seen what had gone on with Alf Duffield prior to that. It just wasn't. Steve Gibson saved the club, but Alf Duffield just about ruined it.
Right, Dave, what's your all-time favourite Boro goal?
Oh, it's got to be Terry Cochrane's overhead kick against Swansea City. Unbelievable. Technique in them days wasn't good, but when you get something like that, and that was my favourite goal of all time, because that's when I was a child. Emotional, there's probably 2. There's Macaroni's header against Bowers took the rest, the last one, and when Marco Branco scored the first against Liverpool in the semi-final, just the ground rocked. What
Terry brought to the Borough, he was absolutely fantastic, Cochrane, wasn't he?
Them guys, the Billy Ashcrofts, the Terry Cochrans, the David Hodgsons, they used to play football on the Saturday afternoon. They probably didn't even get a shower, just come back to the Nornby, the cricket club, and you used to be at the cricket club having a pipe with them. I was 14-year-old. And you were like things like that. They were just men who would join the community for who they were. They weren't paid millions and millions of pounds to play football, and that's a big difference between now. It's a separation of footballers to where, Terry Cochrane still lives locally in Nornby, so he's never, and his son Stephen is a good footballer as well. So, but it's just magnificent when you see that and you grow into today's world, that them guys still mean so much to what you do.
Right, Dave, what is your favourite Boro away day?
Against Chelsea in the 1990 7th Day Cup final. As I say, it was just one of those games where the results didn't matter. Chelsea were a big club. We'd already had the excitement at Villa Park on that Tuesday. We looked forward to that, and it was such a build-up to that, and it was just absolutely magnificent, to get there. I'll never forget the Wolves game as well, when we went down there. We hitchhiked to Wolves in the cup quarter-final. Yeah. It was, we got beat to Andy Gray. Yeah. Could have killed him and them. It was definitely the Boro-Chelsea game against at Wembley, because it's the biggest ground I'd ever been to. There wasn't many modern grounds. In fact, there wasn't any modern grounds, and they were all either tucked in like in industrial estate or in streets like Erson Park was. So,
how did you get there, Dave?
To
Wembley?
To Wembley. My stepdad took me. It was fantastic, I think it was about 6 in a Ford Escort Mark II, I think there was a couple in the boot. Just everybody, there was loads of hitchhiking, it was just a mass of people just stood on the banks of hitchhiking, and, you could see coach after coach going by, but it was such an occasion for the whole town. We sold out within maybe 3 hours, all our allocation. It's the biggest ever now, and that's the crying shame. We don't have that same belief in Boro today as what we did then, because we love the players, so much, and that's, we have our favourites now.
But they were our heroes, weren't they?
They were our heroes. It was a team. You can say George Fenn's a good player, he's somebody's hero, but they were all heroes to me.
Right, Dave, what was your all-time favourite Boro kit?
73-74 with a band across.
First time it came out?
73-74, Alan Fogan. First picture always springs to my mind, and I wish they would go back to that one day. They've always tried to sort of go back to it and replicate it, but
it's so iconic because of the season which we had the first time we wore it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Jack Charlton was a breath of fresh air when he come in. You know, he got things. You know, there wasn't 19 on the bench at them days. He had 13 players. You know, and that was it. You stuck with what you got. But I'll never forget. You know, you used to get your poster stickers you put in your book, and when Alan Foggen and Stuart Bohm came up, you put them in there. It just stood out better than other teams. They were absolutely marvellous.
Right, Dave, what is your saddest day as a Boro fan?
Liquidation. We got to know, it was leading up to it all week, and what had happened I think it was on the Thursday, it come on the radio that Middlesbrough had been closed down with the receivers, shut the gate, and we just went down there, and it was like being in the cemetery. It was like a Walking Dead. Everybody was just crying, and we were thinking, oh, where's our beloved Boro gone?
It was unthinkable at the time, Dave, wasn't it, when, like you say, the team from the 70s, which Charlton built, then John Neal took over, to Bobby Murdoch. Once we got to the likes of Bobby Murdoch in the early 80s, you could feel the club going into a downward spiral. Yeah,
I mean, you know, they got Malcolm Allison in, tried to bring it in. I'll never forget him at Notts County, you know, when we went away, I think we got beat 2-1, and that was in the cup, and it was another day, it was absolutely lashing down, we must do it all over there. But, you know, they were desperate for managers to come in and stabilise it, and they never did that. You know, they got off the big names which came in and did nothing, you know, and you could see where it was heading, you know, and they tried to offload, you know, when the likes of Johnson went to Liverpool, and, you know, they were offloading players for millions. You could see
we were making an absolute fortune out of our squad, Dave, weren't we?
Yeah, we always have, because we produce good players. You know, you only have to look at Erwith nowadays, and you see the academy down there is absolutely fantastic. You know, I do some CPD through my coaching courses down that, and it is an unbelievable setup. You know, you've got all pro licences down there, and that's a difference to then. You had a couple of guys who could run aside, and that was it.
That day it was all over the press, and we can still see the pictures now, Dave, of that guy putting the lock and the chain on them gates, which stand so proud outside the Riverside now. But they are so iconic, Dave, aren't they, to us Boro fans?
Yeah, I've got an A4 picture of that guy locking in my summer house. You know, it's a Boro shrine, you know, and at the end of the day, the fact is they're there to do the job, but unfortunately Boro didn't do their job and tried to keep them doors open, you know, and in one respect it was probably a good thing that did happen. It got us out of a lot of trouble. We could move on after the Port Vale game, otherwise Steve Gibson probably wouldn't be there as he is now, you know, and obviously that's the reason. Maybe we said, right, OK, we'll close it down, get the consortium behind us. And there's a lot of, you know, because obviously we couldn't get the gates open there. We played that game against Port Vale, but it was a moment, it was just so sad. It was like losing a family member.
Dave, what's your funniest moment as a Boro fan?
Funniest? I think that the funniest is we went to Tottenham on away day, and I really shouldn't be saying this on camera, should I?
Go on, crack on.
We ran a coach, and there was a couple doing it behind us. And we just thought, you know, there's like me and my brother there, you know, we're like sheepish, you know, we're only kids, and, you know, what they're doing, he's panting like hell, you know, and I've never seen out like it. You know, everybody was looking, and like, there's no mobile phone footage there, but they were just so funny. You know, it was like a 5-hour journey, and they were just...
They weren't at it for 5 hours, were they?
So you didn't have Viagra then, did they? But yeah, that was I honestly remember that for the rest of my life.
Nice one, Dave. Out of all the 92 teams in the football world, in our football world, which is the one that you like to beat the most?
Chelsea. Because they beat us in that good final in 1990. We always have good games against Chelsea, you know. You know, I don't know, it's just one of those teams where they come up against, you know, they're a good team, but in them days they were just a mediocre team, and there were always good battles, you know.
They never forgive us, did they, when we relegated them in the old style playoffs, where the top team in the division below played the team that finished bottom, and we put them down. Oh
yeah, of course. Yeah, I was at Ayresome Park when we beat them 7-2.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that was the day when, you know, just everything we took and shot, you know, probably 7 shots on target, and we scored 7 goals. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, Chelsea were a team there was always to and fro, and having digs at Boro in their press, and, you know, it was a London against a North East team, you know. But definitely Chelsea, 100%.
Like you say, Chelsea, first team to be defeated at the Riverside off the Boro.
2-0, yeah, Craig Ignat, yeah. just that was it. You know, I couldn't have asked for any better draw. We opened a brand new stadium, state of the art, and against Chelsea we beat them 2-0. It was like heaven. It was like eating a bar of chocolate.
Dave, and what makes our club special?
I think it's because it's supported by so many local fans. We were officially given the fact that we were the ground where the most local fans are loyal to the club. I've followed them from being 4-year-old, and any other team just doesn't enter my head other than Middlesbrough. You know, even when things weren't there, because you only had 3 TV programmes in my early days. You know, then the final score used to come on, and then match of the day you stayed up or tried to stay up until your mum said bed. But you know, it just is a special. It's a special place because it's the heart of the community. And I think what makes it special, some players like George Friend do go out into the community and try and do things for the community, which I like, you know, because that's what I do, you know, and I think that's what makes Middlesbrough a special club, because they're a family club.
Dave, that's been absolutely amazing, taking us on your journey with the Boro. Thanks for coming on Boro Fan TV.